Good afternoon. My name is Justin Latham, and this is another post for our history class. Today, we're going to talk about the legacy of Thomas Jefferson. Before I actually get into that stuff, just some stuff to get out of the way. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743 in Virginia, and he inherited from his father, who was a planter and surveyor, about 5,000 acres of land, um, and basically from his mother, Randolph, a high social standing. He studied at the College of William and Mary, and then read law. In 1722, he married his wife Martha, who was a widow at the time, and took her to live in his partly constructed mountaintop home, which we know now as Monticello. Now, Thomas Jefferson he was freckled, he had sandy hair, he was tall, but he was awkward. Um, he was a very eloquent man, but he wasn't a public speaker. He didn't really want to be. He was basically a silent member of Congress. However, at the young age of 33, he drafted the Declaration of Independence. Um, and that's something he struggled with to make a reality in Virginia. And also in 1786, he wrote a bill establishing religious freedom, which was, like I said, enacted in 1786. Also, in 1785, he succeeded Benjamin Franklin as Minister of France, because he was very sympathetic to the French Revolution, which kind of brought him in conflict with Alexander Hamilton, because at the time he was the Secretary of State under Washington, which he resigned in 1793. Basically, during this time, there like there is today, there were kind of two main political parties: the Democratic Republicans and the Federalists. And Jefferson basically took leadership of the Republicans, um, Democratic Republicans, who sympathized with the revolutionary cause in France. He opposed a strong centralized government and basically wanted states' rights to become first. He ran for president in 1796, and he came within 3 votes of election. Now, this is interesting because in 1796, if you came in second place, you were the vice president. So you could have a Federalist president with a Democratic Republican vice president. Very awkward, and it led to some interesting things. There's also the whole thing with Aaron Burr. We won't really get into that, though. Eventually, when Jefferson did become president, there was no crisis in France, and he said he basically slashed the Army and Navy expenditures. He cut the budget. He eliminated the tax on whiskey, so unpopular in the West, yet reduced the national debt by a third. So he was very fiscally responsible. However, one of the biggest controversial actions that he took as president was the Louisiana Purchase, which is the first time that a president or the country expanded significantly. Basically, more than doubled the size of the country. Jefferson died on July 4th, ironically, 1826, which is 50 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed. As far as legacies, like I said before, Jefferson definitely had his flaws. He definitely had his faults. Um, However, he was also a man who did not like tyranny and um, did not relish the public office per se. In 1809, it is said when he was 65 years old, he described his feelings for as a person of public office. He said, "Never did a prisoner released from his chains feel such relief as I shall on shaking off the shackles of power." This is someone who acknowledged the awesomeness of power, but also knew that power comes with the cost, and that no man should have power for too long, which I think is his lasting legacy. Thank you so much for your time. God bless.